Hello and welcome back. I am Bill English, the publisher at Bible and Business. In today's videocast, we're going to talk about overcompensating employees, the problem with giving them too much money, and the problems with trying to adjust their compensation down after you've realized that you may have been giving your employees too much in terms of compensation. Now, right off the bat, this is not a popular topic in our culture. Most people believe that employees are undercompensated, not overcompensated. And there are a number of situations and a number of classes of employees with which I would agree with that argument. Teachers, firefighters, policemen, restaurant workers, and the list goes on of the people that I think probably should be earning more money than what they're earning. The number of people who are actually overcompensated tend to fall in really two categories. One category is publicly held leadership, CEOs, CFOs, COOs of Fortune 1000 companies, I think tend to be overcompensated. Not always. But many times are. I wouldn't even say most of the time. Many times they are, especially if they make a lot of money and they haven't delivered on results. I have no problem with a CEO who makes several millions or 10 or 20 million a year if they are delivering the results for their shareholders and for their employees, for the community, and for their customers and their vendors. If they are delivering and they are creating jobs and they are growing things and they are very profitable, I have no problem with their compensation being tied to the success measures that the board lays out. But I do have a problem with these large company CEOs being overcompensated, especially when their companies are going down the tubes and they still walk away with millions of dollars. That I think is wrong. Having said that, there's a second place where I often find employees are compensated. And believe it or not, it's in small business, privately held small businesses. Let me give you an example of a company now was stretched. They were strained financially. They weren't going out of business. They really weren't in a turnaround status, but their business was difficult because they were cash constrained. They had about $3.5 million of debt. And when I went and I looked back at the compensation of the employees, not only were the employees getting their base and their 401k match, but the employees also got a Christmas bonus and then a year-end cash bonus. So they got 4 different ways of being compensated. And when I looked at the Christmas bonus and the year-end cash bonuses for the last 7 years, that the amount of those Christmas bonuses and cash bonuses over that 7-year period came to within about $50,000 of the $3.5 million that the company was in debt. That's an example of where if you're borrowing to make bonus payments that are not due by contract, you're just giving them out of the goodness of your heart, then you're probably overcompensating your employees relative to what your business can handle. It's really not about how hard they're working as much as it is what your business can handle. If you're paying their compensation at market rates and you're giving their bonus at market rates or better, I'm sorry, not your bonus, but the benefits at market rates are better, then anything extra you give them out of the goodness of your heart might be a wonderful thing to do, but if you have to borrow to do it, then in my book, you're overcompensating. So out of Bible and Business, I have this article that I wrote titled How to Adjust the Compensation for Overcompensated Employees. I have found that this is a very talked about topic. And so I took a stab at writing an article about this back on September 11th, ironically, of 2016. Now look, the article is going to say it's not a common or even a prevalent problem, and it's not. But in small privately held businesses, this can and does occur, and overcompensation leads to several problems that small business owners really don't know how to face. The first one is that they discourage the right type of turnover. It is good for your business from time to time to have turnover in your employee base. If you don't have turnover in your employee base, then that means you've either got a bunch of top performers and they're doing really well and you're doing really well and they're compensated really well. But more than likely, you're probably going to be filled over time with mediocre employees who are overpaid. If you overcompensate an employee who just doesn't perform that well, then they have no incentive to leave. And while you can fire them, that also comes with its own set of problems, especially if you haven't done progressive discipline or put them on a performance improvement plan. Most business owners who overcompensate also do not do human resources very well, and they have mediocre performance out of people, and they don't really try to change that. They don't coach for it. They don't do performance improvement plans. They don't do anything. And so this can be a real problem for you and your company. Secondly, believe it or not, employees start to feel like, man, I'm really getting compensated well. I must be doing a good job. And therefore, they begin to feel entitled. If I just keep doing this job, I'm entitled to this money. I'm entitled to this compensation. So if you have a great year and you give everyone a fabulous bonus, and you do that year after year after year, they will come to depend on that bonus and expect that bonus as part of their compensation package, even though maybe they never signed anything to that effect with human resources, or maybe it's not stated in their benefits package. So overpaid employees believe that they deserve it, right? And that you owe it to them. And so they will develop a sense of entitlement and they will develop a sense of expectations. The third problem is that when you then need them to work harder than what they normally would, they're already going to be as rewarded as they possibly can, or as much as they want, and so they have no incentive to work harder. So if you lay out another bonus for them, they might look at that and go, well, I'm already making enough. Why would I put in any more effort than what I'm already doing? I mean, I must be doing a good job because look at the compensation package I get. I get my base, I get these benefits, I get this year-end bonus, and it happens every year. So, I really have no incentive to work harder. Overcompensation often leads to mediocre work quality. Similarly, a situation employee, if you pay one employee X for doing a job, then you'll need to pay the other employee X for doing a similar job. If the first employee is overcompensated, then you're probably going to have to overcompensate the second employee. And those things they aren't fair to you, the employee. They're not fair to you, and it eats into your profits unnecessarily. This next point that I have is that overcompensated employees tend to have less dignity. One of the best ways that you can give your employees dignity is by giving them a stretch goal, resourcing them properly, and then letting them achieve that goal so that they grow professionally, they grow personally, they expand their skill set, and they have a real sense of accomplishment. When people try harder and achieve more, their esteem and their dignity goes up. And when they are already getting high rewards for normal work and for normal quality, then you're really robbing them of the opportunity to grow professionally and build their personal self-esteem. Now, what happens if you try to lower the salaries of your employees who are already overcompensated? Chances are really good that one of two things is going to happen. First, for sure, they're going to look around. And secondly, they're going to find that they are making about as much as they can make where they're at. And so if you go back to paying them market rates, let's say you remove the year-end bonus, they're going to grumble and gripe and complain about it. But you remove it, they're going to look around, and then they're going to find that their base package plus their benefits are already adequate for what they do. And they may leave just out of spite and anger, or they may stay and have zero motivation to do more than the minimum. And that's not what you want on your staff. Your worst situation here is to lower an employee's salary and then have a disgruntled worker who stays on, who works less, delivers less. They start to poison your culture, and generally they start to harm your business. So how do you handle this? Well, first of all, you need to get somebody who can come into your business, I think, and look at the compensation structure of your business and tell you, yeah, your base and your EVP might be okay, employee value proposition. Your EVP might be okay, but look, these bonuses that you're giving out there, they're just too large. The market doesn't support that. And then you may have to dial that back over a few years. Secondly, you can come in and change the structure of their compensation to be more variable and have it be more connected to their individual performance, their team performance, or their company performance. So you create a situation in which you say, yeah, we're taking away these year-end bonuses, but what we're going to do is we're going to take 25% of your base pay and make it variable, and we're going to tie it to the company's performance. And as the company does better, you're going to make more money. And so instead of them just getting a bonus out of the goodness of your heart, their bonus is going to be tied to their work and the performance of the company. That will probably improve productivity in the long run. In the short run, you're going to make everybody mad. And in the short run, you probably are going to lose some people. So you need to be prepared to have some people transition, even if it's some of your top talent. Secondly, you need to explain that in my running example here of a year-end bonus, you need to explain that most companies don't do, a base salary, a rich benefits package, plus a year-end bonus, plus a Christmas bonus, plus. Most companies just don't do that. They can't afford it, and it's not wise for them to do it. And so you may, if you don't want to take the bonus away or the overcompensation away all at the same time, then you may want to dial it back over a period of 2 or 3 years. And then during the reduction time, give them a chance to improve their skills and contribution to the company and re-earn that compensation back. And last but not least, I'm a big believer in never wasting a crisis. If you have a crisis, there's a recession. Right now, as I'm recording this, we're in the middle of COVID in 2020. Maybe you have a significant customer who goes somewhere else. If a crisis comes up, use that as the opportunity to get all the compensation changes that you want. Never let that crisis go to waste. Look, I know that sounds harsh and somewhat selfish if you're not a business owner. But given the inherent problems that are created through overcompensation, I think the results for your business and your employees in the long run will be better. In the short run, it's really going to be difficult. It's just going to be difficult, and you need to be in it for the long haul if you're going to reduce compensation. Again, I think overcompensation usually happens in smaller, privately held businesses where the owners use overcompensation as a way to get the employees to like them or as a way to just be nice because they want to be nice and they want to be liked, I guess. But the employees will not work harder for the overcompensation, and they will not deliver more if you pay them more. And, I had this experience with a sales team. I used to own a training company. And I thought, well, these guys are selling X when they're being paid Y. If they sold Z, would they sell Z if they were being paid, say, X plus Y? Or something like that. I didn't use the right formula there, but they were being paid at this level and they were selling this much. So if I paid them more, would they sell more? So I raised the compensation rate, I think very unwisely on my part, for the entire sales team, and compensation went up, sales stayed the same. They didn't sell any more than what they had been selling before. And I think the reason was because they were adequately compensated for the work that they were doing. So when their opportunity to make more money went up, I increased both the base and the percentage that they could make. They just took the increased base and said, thank you. and they didn't sell any more than what they had sold before. So what I should have done was done this. Your salary is here and you're selling X here. I'm going to lower your salary and make more of it variable depending upon how much you sell. And then I would have seen sales go up. So look, let me reiterate. Most people in society are not overcompensated. Let me just say that again. Most people in society are not overcompensated. The vast majority of the jobs that we have in America are not overcompensated. There are certain professions that I wish made more than what they make, but I'm not the decision maker on that, and there's not a lot I can do about that. But when you are a privately held business and you are a Christian business owner and you are overcompensating your employees, you're creating inherent cultural and financial problems for yourself that are going to be very, very difficult to adjust. I would say before you are even starting to look at compensation, you need to get some outside help to tell you how to compensate the positions and the employees in your business. And then I think you'll be much better off if you do decide to give raises. You'll know why you're giving those raises, and the raises will get people to market rates. So listen, kind of a tough topic. Dialogue with me. Post some comments back at BibleandBusiness.com on this article, how to adjust the compensation for overcompensated employees, or post a comment here at the Bible and Business channel. I'd love to dialogue with you, and if you want to get a hold of me privately, you can do so by emailing me, bill@BibleandBusiness.com. Hey, thanks for watching this today, and I hope you go out and make it a great day. Take care.